Hey guys, it is the PC Gamer here. Today, we're going to be doing something special. I've never done this before. We're going to be doing a tier list. That is right, I am doing something that is really. Oh yeah, I use cookies. I eat cookies like a fat kid at the birth party. Um, Basically, today we're going to be ranking the Pink Floyd albums on what I think we already know. How I feel about Pink Floyd. If you don't, best band ever. Um, First, we're going to be starting off with Animals. Animals has one distinct track. I'm going to be real with you. Animals has one distinct track on it. I'm not discrediting um, the other tracks on this album. Pig's three different ones makes it an A tier. An honest A tier, I think. It's like one of the best albums I ever made. Some really good non-electric guitars, whatever country guitar, whatever. I'm a hick, so you can call it whatever you want. Um, Songs, a lot of mellow songs too in this album. Adam Hart Mother. It's a prog album, which makes Pink Floyd progress. It makes them do things that you haven't seen them do before. This is like, well, looking on the albums, that there's some underrated picks on this list right here. I'm gonna put it at a C because the first track is 23 minutes long. And I kind of don't like Pink Floyd albums that do that. You'll see that later with metal. I don't like Pink Floyd albums that have half of it taken over. Wish You Were Here gets the excuse of it, you know, taking up parts. It's not all 23 minutes right there, and then gives some room to some really great uplifting tracks. But we're not on that rating yet. We'll get to that at the very end. Um, more, more is mellow. Cirrus Minor is a great track to start an album on. You know, I really love how they started on that. This album's mellow, mostly. It's psychedelic and mellow. Like their earlier albums, it's one of the earlier ones before Amagama, which is what I'm gonna be ranking it as if I ever create a timeline. Um, Basically, I think that the More album gets the bottom of C tier. The bottom of C tier. I didn't like it that much. Cirrus Minor is one of my most favorite tracks, though. Nile's song is the Nile song. Dark Side. Okay, I'm gonna explain this right now. Dark Side of the Moon is the best album ever made, but it's not even the best Pink Floyd album. To be honest, Dark Side of the Moon has some really great tracks. I learned how to play Money and Us and Them on the tenor and the alto sax. It's some really great tracks, some really great notes to play. I enjoyed uh, playing them on the saxophone. Really great album. Brain Damage is my favorite track on it. Divi- it gets B. It gets the top B probably it's ever gonna get. The Division Bell is not my favorite, but it's not my most hated album ever. Um, it has high hopes, and that's not. I was about to say Learning to Fly, but it does not have Learning to Fly on it. This has Learning to Fly. We'll get to this later. Um, Roger Waters had left. I don't like Roger Pink Floyd without Roger Waters. I just don't. The Endless River. This is literally just extra tracks from the Division Bell, but more mellow. It's a mellow album. There's no really great moments on the Endless River. There's nothing. There's no really great moments here. Final Cut. We'll give it the top of B, and it's probably gonna stay there. Um, the Final Cut is just The Wall continued. It's not much of a conceptual album. I couldn't follow it where it was going. Most of this it was confusing to follow. Um, but essentially, it's actually a really great album. I think it's a good because I placed it in B tier. Um, Final Cut has the Final Cut, one of my most favorite tracks. Get Your Hands Off My Filthy Desert, pretty cool. I like the concept. Um, Post War Dreams, really uplifting. I love that guitar in it. Um, Your Possible Pasts on it, yeah, it's really good. Um, this album, Momentary Lapse of Reason, it's gonna get the top of A tier because Pink Floyd, I didn't expect them to be this good after Roger left. I listened to Pink Floyd in a chronological order. So I did not I heard that Roger left after Final Cut and I said to myself, well, are they going to be good after this? Yeah, they're good. They're bordering great, but Momentary Lapse has a lot of parts that make this just a psychedelic track. My dad's favorite album of Pink Floyd, by the way. A tier, Momentary. Metal. Every other track but Echoes on this is bad. I think that's how I remembered this album. It's getting in the top of C tier, I think, because Metal Echoes is phenomenal, I think. Because it's 23 minutes of mellow. It's like Shine On, where it's really lyrical in one part, and then it's just mellow for like 8-9 minutes, and then it gets real lyrical again. It just circles around, right? Um, I think it's a really good album to listen to if you really have some off time that you want. Just you've listened to a lot of Pink Floyd, then you want to listen to metal. Go ahead. I recommend it. Don't listen to the Endless River though. I will come to your house and I will kill your family. Obscured by Clouds gets like what, the middle of B tier. This is the most underrated Pink Floyd album besides Endless River and Adam Hart. I think this is really underrated, but it has some really good psychedelic tracks. This is the album after Adam Hart, where they were transitioning back into rock after they did a prog album. I think album has a lot of good tracks on it, but because it's so underrated, I'm placing it in the middle of B tier. Piper at the Gates of Dawn, their first ever album. They released some singles before that, which are pretty good. I'd say they're B tier singles. Piper at the Gates, let me think. I think that Piper at the Gates is an honest top bottom of S tier, honestly, because there are some really great moments on it. There are some. This album is top psychedelic. Besides Saucerful, which we'll get to a little bit later, but Piper at the Gates of Dawn started everything. Astronomy Don't Mind's a phenomenal song to start an album on. Um, I think that, yeah, really good. Lucifer Sam's catchy because of how it starts. My favorite track on this album is Bike. Bike is so crazy, man. It's so crazy. Cause I think it's halfway through the track, it just gets all creepy. Now we're gonna get on to Saucerful. Saucerful of Secrets. What do I think of Saucerful of Secrets? It it gets the top of A tier. It gets the top of A tier. Psychedelic songs again, but what puts it at A and not B is that this was the last album that Sid Barrett played on for Pink Floyd. And he played one track, I believe. I can't remember exactly. He was talking about how he's getting kicked out of the band. So basically, really good one. Really good one. Really good Pink Floyd album. Go listen to it if you haven't, which you probably haven't. It's an underrated Pink Floyd album. The Wall. Actually, we're gonna rank The Wall last. Where it's my second favorite Pink Floyd album, but Ummagumma. People say that Small Species of Furry Animals is the worst Pink Floyd. I don't think it is. I think there isn't a worst Pink Floyd song because Pink Floyd's just all good. I think it's like the Beatles. It's like the Beatles. Pink Floyd doesn't really have a bad album, I think, in my opinion. Besides the On This River. Besides that, but Gumma, you get placed at the right here in C tier because you have The Narrow Way, and that's a really great trilogy of songs, which is really metal, which is really just mellow, man. Really mellow. Wish You Were Here. I have to admit, even though Dark Side's my favorite Pink Floyd album, I think this is the album that got me into Pink Floyd. I started listening, the first Pink Floyd song I ever started listening to was Shine On, You Crazy Diamond. That was when I was 8 years old, I'm pretty sure. Man, now it's about 5 years later. Man. And for that, it's a little better than Astronomy, Don't Mind. Have a Cigar is a song I've started engaging into recently because it's so catchy. Ladies and gentlemen, for probably the best rock opera ever, The Wall. This thing goes... For me, it gets placed in the second place in S tier. Because Dark Side's literally just about life. The Wall offers a lot of story. And after The Wall, I wanted something like, not like the final cut, but something to continue Pink's story. Pink is like one of the best fictional characters besides the Joker I've ever read into. Because I really, really do love Pink as a character and how truly insane this man can be. Waiting for the Worms is my favorite track on this album. My least favorite is... What is my least favorite, really? I can't think of it. Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. That has a controversial opinion. I don't like it because it's so overrated by everyone. It's the most popular Pink Floyd, and it doesn't deserve that. To be honest, it's a simple song about hating school, which is a double negative in and of itself, about not hating school. Rogers is pro-education. I think that is a really great album. For tracks like Hey You and Nobody Home. I love tracks like that. Just phenomenal tracks. Waiting for the Worms has the most aesthetic, I'm pretty sure, of the entire album. Because it adds in a megaphone, which is really... I wish I saw more... I love that sound. I wish I saw more tracks like it. But anyway, make sure you guys subscribe and like. Don't worry, I'm not doing any more essays about Breaking Bad. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe I don't know, a week from now. Or maybe a day or two. I have nothing to do. Anyway, goodbye.